Welcome back to the Bear Experiment podcast. I'm your host, Monica Clavijo, and today we're diving deep into one of the most profound and soul stirring journeys a person can experience, the twin flame journey. Now, my guest today is someone whose wisdom comes not only from years of spiritual coaching, but from living and breathing this path of divine love himself. He is a twin flame, a healer, and the author of the beautifully raw and transformational book, My Soul Transformed My Love Reflections of the Twin Flame Journey. Through his own awakening, IKO has helped countless souls navigate the chaos of separation, the pain of the ego death, and the path back to inner union with compassion, clarity, and truth. Whether you're in a union, in a separation, or still unsure if you even met your twin flame, this conversation will open your heart, challenge your beliefs, and invite you to surrender to the deeper meaning of love and self discovery. I want to thank you all for your support by subscribing to our YouTube channel, hitting the notification bell so that you never miss an episode with all of our amazing guests that are coming to share their stories to help you elevate your spiritual growth. Now let's dive in.
Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Just getting.
At all. We're not even on time yet. You're early.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, no, yeah. I'm just in the middle of planning a move, so you know
Oh,
how that
that,
goes.
that's
Yeah, it's a bit
always fun.
hectic.
I just recently did
hmm
one a couple of months ago, so I feel your pain.
Uh,
So
yes, yes. I just
say
want everything to.
say your name for me.
Sorry, go ahead.
Say your name for me.
Eco, like eco-friendly.
So it's
Eco,
Eco.
like
Okay.
eco-friendly.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, all set, all set.
Okay,
Let's do it.
all right, Eco. Well, thank you so much. Welcome to the show. I'm so honored to have you here. I absolutely love all the
Sweet.
information that you're putting out there about the twin flame journey. I think that the majority of us can definitely reflect on the pain of that separation when you do experience this level of love.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Welcome to the show. So, why don't we start off by talking about your book? What inspired you to write My Soul Transformed My Love, Reflections of the Twin Flame Journey? What inspired this amazing book?
It just shows my kind of growth and where I'm at in the journey, and I just wanted to share it with people because I know when I was kind of going through the journey, it was very. I felt like I was super alone, and I was the only one going through it. So I wanted a piece that could hopefully reflect my journey and hopefully mirror, what I've gone through, and it could help other people. My goal was to touch the soul, which is
Mm-hmm.
what this journey is all about. So yeah, I'm very proud of the piece. It's 2 years in the making, and yeah, it's uh, it's a piece on. Um, so the first part is kind of gives you, uh, information on what twin flames are, because not many people. There's a lot of like things in the internet about twin flames, a lot of misconceptions that you don't really know unless you're going through the journey. And then, so yeah, so it kind of breaks a lot of myths from my perspective. And then the second part is just um, how you would, the things that could help you on your journey, and
Mm-hmm.
then the lessons that you learn, the soul lessons. So they kind of go hand in hand. So it's
Which in essence that is what the experience of going through a twin flame journey is your spiritual growth.
yes, it is. Yes. There are many doors that can kind of trigger your spiritual awakening. The twin flame journey is just a door that you walk through.
Another opportunity to be able to awaken.
Awaken, yes. Some people, their house burns down, they lose a loved one. For those on a twin flame journey, you enter it through that portal, through the lens of love. First, it starts out as romantic love, but then you kind of turn that focus around, and then it turns into self-love.
And a lot
You
of
know.
people that I've spoken to get to this level of their awakenedness through near-death experiences also.
Yeah. Anything that'll shake up the mind and
Mm-hmm.
anything that'll shake up your sense of reality,
Right,
I
right.
find will trigger or will become a catalyst. But they all lead the same way. And I say this in my book, all rivers lead to the ocean. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter. It's all the same.
So, what was your most transformational moment during your own twin flame experience?
I talk about this in my TikTok. I had two kind of twin flame
Mm-hmm.
experiences. So I had a catalyst experience, who I thought was my twin flame at the time. A lot of people call this your false twin flame, or your karmic. But at the time, I thought they were my twin flame, and they kind of serve as a catalyst, and they kind of initiate you into your path. And then yeah, so I went through that. It was very, very tough. It was during the pandemic. This was around 2019. So I was kind of dealing with the pandemic. It was a lot. Uh, and then so that was a tough thing, I think. And then I met my second twin flame experience. Same kind of blueprint, same situations. It was kind of like a repeat, like a part two. But the second time I knew I would do things differently. So both are kind of different notes on the same piano, I'd say.
So in essence, you were given the opportunity the first round. Is it because you didn't learn the lessons that you were meant to learn? So then now you're getting a second opportunity? Is that why you? Because I was under the assumption that you only have one true twin flame. You only have one.
You
So
do. You do. Most people meet their twin flame, and their true twin flame is their catalyst. For me, it worked a bit different. My first kind of twin flame experience, you could say it was more like a karmic false twin flame, and then my true twin flame was my second experience. So, I came to that kind of more healed, more balanced. They were still very, triggering. I still had to learn, certain lessons, but it felt like a deeper soul connection, and that was, I'd say, my true twin
right, right.
flame.
So can you define the difference between what a twin flame is and how it's different from a soulmate from your perspective?
Okay, yeah. So I use the analogy of a piano. So a soulmate. So say you're playing the keys on a piano, and you play one note, and then you play another note, and the notes don't match up. It's like, "Durr," it sounds off. That's a karmic. So you play one note, and then you play another note, and you could just tell they just sound really good together. I'm not a music guy. I don't know which notes sound good together. But you could just play on the piano. You play two notes, they don't go together. You move your finger, you play two notes. It's just a smooth harmonic note. That would be a soulmate. It's very harmonious. It's like two notes that kind of blend together. A twin flame, you're the same note. If that makes sense.
It's a reflection of who you are in essence, right? Is that what it is?
Y- Yeah, it's not the same note. It's the same note, and it's the same sound. It's the same frequency versus two notes that are harmonious. There are no two separate notes. You're the same note.
Now, why is it that the twin flame journey is so hard if it's meant to be about sacred love?
It's hard because it forces you to evolve. You know what I mean? So
It
everything
takes
in
you
the
out of that
universe.
comfort zone, right? Yeah, that we never
Yeah,
want to get out of.
yeah, yeah, and love is, I think, the greatest catalyst for growth. Even in regular romantic relationships,
I agree.
it's not easy. It's not easy. So I would say um, it is through the lens of love. I think it's one of the most challenging because, again, it's a reflection of yourself. You have to look at yourself, and that's one of the hardest things to do, I think, because it forces you to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we think we're honest, and we lie to other people. We're not always truthful, but most of all, we lie to ourselves.
Right.
So I think with the twin flame journey, it forces you through pain, which is the hard way, to learn those hard lessons, and there's no other way. You can't escape it.
Can you explain so that we understand the runner chaser dynamic within a twin flame union and why it's so common?
Okay, yes. So the runner chaser happens. It's not really a runner chaser. First, I approach it. You have to address the runner chaser within you. So it's just a reflection of that push and pull dynamic between you. So when you're in a twin flame dynamic, and a lot of people know this, sometimes you love them, sometimes you hate them. You go back and forth, back and forth. So first you address that within yourself. And then once you neutralize that, the outside reality kind of matches your own vibration, and there is no runner chaser within your twin flame. But I mean, it's a dance, right? So, um, and it provides contrast as well. Um, so, uh, yeah, I would say it's part of the blueprint. It's part of what your soul designed. Um, so the runner chaser, um, I would say, when you're in the beginning part of your journey, it reflects the duality within you.
Mm-hmm.
So, light, dark, runner, chaser. You want to get to a place where it's kind of like the yin yang symbol,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where there's light and dark, but it depends on your perspective. Do you see the light or dark as separate, or do you see the yin and yang symbol as whole? You want to get to a place where you collapse the duality, and then you see um, the runner chaser is just an illusion. It's just one kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Do you always get back together with your twin flame? Does it always reunite?
No, no. Um, and I know a lot of twin flames are in separation, and they're in separation because they are waiting. They're waiting for their twin flame, and that waiting energy. And this is what I want to kind of change within the twin flame community. It's there's this kind of fairy tale notion that you're meant to be together. You're going to end up happily ever after, and it's kind of romanticized, and that's not what the journey is about. The journey is all about you,
Mhm.
um, and this is not a journey of waiting. So whoever is waiting for their twin flame, you're going to be waiting the rest of your life. You need to move forward with your life, um, and let go of the outcome, let go of the need to be in union, because the twin flame journey is about being in union with your true self, and that's embodying, wholeness, not needing another person, and that's embodying you as a soul, which is complete. You don't need the other to make
Right,
yourself complete.
right.
And you need to move forward with your life. You need to move forward with your purpose, whatever that may be, despite having your twin flame with you or not. Because, um, you can embody wholeness and union within yourself. You can create that space for your twin flame to join you. But at the end of the day, it's their choice.
Right.
Um,
So during separation, should there be an opportunity where you can reunite, what's the next phase then for like that fastest reunion to take place? Personally, what do you have to become for that union to take place when it does take place, when it does reunite together?
it's a bit of a paradox. When you let go, reunion fully.
Release, surrender, right?
Yeah. And that creates the space for that to
Mm-hmm.
be possible. Depending, again, you can create the space for that to happen as a divine feminine. It's an invitation, and you're good with or without it.
Right.
And that's the space you want to be in.
If it happens,
Because
great. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be okay as well.
exactly, exactly. But it doesn't matter because, when you create that space within yourself, when you have that wholeness,
Mm-hmm.
if your twin flame won't meet you in that same vibration, the universe, nothing is ever lost. Something will come back in another form, and you'll meet someone that can meet your vibration.
Oh, I love
Or
that.
you can be alone, or you can be alone. You're good. You're good either way.
Either way, no matter what, you're okay. Whatever's going to happen and whatever's going to take place, you're going to be okay no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think life is more, and that's the beauty of life when it's, spontaneous. You're not waiting, you're not looking for anything. You're good, and that's when the magic happens.
So this is good, a good segue. How can we get to a position? I'm having a hard time talking today. The words are not coming out. How do we get to a flow, to that surrender flow in life? What are ways that you can help us achieve this essence of presence in order to achieve this flow and faith?
I talk a lot about it in my book, actually, the second part. There are many ways you could do it. A lot of people, um, you know, well, for one, you shift into, and this all happens naturally on a twin flame journey. You don't even have to, really try. For me, it's the state of flow is trusting the universe. So a lot of us grew up, you know, bad things happen to us, so we kind of create this distrust with the universe. We think something bad is going to happen. But if you look back in your life, all the bad things kind of lead to something good.
And and
So
it
there's
and
a
it always
blessing
and it always works out, right? Like if you
always,
reflect on everything, everything's always worked out for your better good, for your highest good.
always, always, yeah. So number one is trust. Number one, and then number two, I say is surrender. So surrendering is trusting the universe, which is trusting yourself because you are part of the universe. So when you trust yourself, you trust the universe naturally. You just have this kind of inner knowing that everything is
Hmm.
working out. And when you're on a twin flame journey, things are very, and a lot of people can relate to this, it's very synchronized, It's the amount of synchronicities you experience, it's kind of like mind blowing um, how how what what the universe can conspire behind the scenes. Um, how it can bring you and your twin flame together at the exact moment, at the exact time. And if it was off just by a little, you probably wouldn't have met, but you met at the exact same time. Even throughout the journey, when you start doing the dance, they kind of show up at the moment you had a breakthrough, or when you shift into more self-love, they kind of show up. So it's very synchronized. So again, you don't have to worry. The universe, um, is taking care of it.
When we
So
fall
that's just
into
the rent.
when we fall into that pattern of obsessive thinking that you almost can't control, um, is that something where they are also feeling and feeding off of that energy of your obsessive thinking? And how do we stop that? And how do we control the obsessive thinking?
Yeah, the obsessive thinking for me was really tough. I also talk about this in my book. It was one of the worst things I've ever gone through. I felt like I was going crazy. This was with my first kind of false twin flame experience. Um, and then yeah, it's you it kind of teaches you the nature of the mind. So in my book I talk about this a lot where, the mind is like a pond. The more you try and stop it and control it, the more the pond gets agitated, right? The goal is to just sit back and let the pond do its thing. It'll settle on its own. It's a skill, like any other skill, like walking. It's going to take practice.
So in essence,
Um,
it's about practicing different forms of meditation and grounding and
mhm.
right
For
to
me,
calm your mind.
yeah, there are many ways, many methods. For me, meditation really works, but it's tough for most people to kind of sit there and meditate. Since the journey was, and specifically the obsessive thoughts was very, very tough for me. I had to meditate. I was forced into it
Mm-hmm.
to kind of find that peace. Um, and anything could be a meditation. Listening to music, walking, painting,
Right.
um, whatever meditation means for you. You kind of have to hone in. And yeah, and the key is, and this will kind of segue into the flow piece, letting go.
Hmm.
So, for example, when you're doing spring cleaning, letting go of your, letting go of your favorite piece of clothing or your favorite shoes, that energy of just letting it go, you can apply that um, to, whatever, to your twin flame, to the outcome. And it's tough.
And why is it? Why does it always happen that we have to go through a dark night of the soul when we meet our twin flame and we end up in separation? Is that something that always has to take place for a spiritual awakening to develop, or is that on an individual basis?
Yeah, most people I talk to, when I do my one-on-one coaching sessions, also for me, you go through multiple dark nights, um, and it's not a bad thing. It's just part of the process. You're just shedding old skin,
Mhm.
and that part of you, kind of dies, um, uh, and it feels like you are dying kind of when you're in the moment. It's the worst thing in the world, but it's not a bad thing. It's a shedding process,
Mhm.
energetically with your emotions, and then you feel it after in your body. For me, I was getting aches and pains, and you know, um, yeah. So it's growing pains, I
Right.
like to call them.
Listen, sometimes you have to almost like hit rock bottom in order to be able to kind of like come back up. There's no other way, right? At that point, you're coming back up, and now you're coming a little smarter, a little better guided. You've had different
For sure,
experiences where you know, kind of, okay, let me not do this because we already know the outcome. Let me try this path now. This might be a smoother path for me because I know that this other way did not work. And with that being said,
for sure.
how do we know? How do we even know that we met our twin flame? Or and it's not just like, a crush or not even a soulmate, but you sometimes you can be in a relationship where you really like somebody, there's a lot of chemistry,
Hmm.
and we can and it could be a volatile relationship at that, but how do we know that it's a twin flame?
There's no way of knowing. So when you the and this is the nature of the mind. The mind wants external validation, and it wants something physical in the universe to prove that this person is your twin flame. On this journey, I teach this, it's about self-love and self validation.
Hmm.
So and then one way that I do it is, look at how much you've grown, um, from the time you met your twin flame to wherever you are on the journey. If you see spiritual growth, mental, emotional growth, then that's your validation. It comes from within. So
Hmm.
you validate yourself. You don't need external validation. You don't need them to tell you they're your twin flame or that they love you.
You
It's
feel it. You feel that within yourself, and that's your validation right there.
for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, that's part of self-love. You don't need anything outside of yourself to prove,
Hmm.
what's within you. And you shift into this kind of knowing, um, plus all the synchronicities, you know, plus I would say it's just this connection you have. It's like you've known them since the beginning of time, and yeah, it's
What what
it's
are
hard to
what
explain.
what are some of the synchronicities that, you know, people that you've coached have told you that you see that there's a common denominator with everyone?
Um, Probably the dark night of the soul, is one. The obsessive thinking, even the doubt is another telltale sign. If you are doubting you're on a twin flame journey, again, it's the paradox. Chances are you're on a twin flame journey. And the main thing is, if you're attracted to my content, which I kind of focus on the spiritual aspect of it, the spiritual growth, um, you're on a twin flame journey because it forces kind of spiritual growth. And not that any kind of relationship doesn't. Um, it's the twin flame journey. I think it's on another level. It's more intense, and you can't run away from it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
And again,
I agree with that too, with your content. It's like whoever's meant to listen to it, the universe is gonna guide you to that page, right? Like we're gonna
mhm,
synchronize together at that point because I'm meant to listen to the message that you're putting out, which is exactly what
mhm,
happened, you know. I put it out in the universe. I want to have the podcast be more of a spiritual podcast where I speak to amazing guests like you, and you know, it really wasn't happening in the beginning. I was dealing with a lot of people that were replying to me and they were former drug users where they were in
mhm,
rehab and they were helping others where it was still a great story, but I wanted it to be more based on the spiritual aspect of once you get out of that hole that you're in. And all of a
mhm.
sudden once I just said it's going to happen when it's going to happen, I got people calling me now to be on the show, and it's all about this content, and I'm just like, Monica, you need to sit back and go with the flow of
Yeah,
life, you know, because you're trying to control too much, and
yeah,
the universe knows more than you do. You know, just everything's gonna work out
yeah.
in your highest good and just be okay with that. Um,
Yeah, and that's part of, the letting go piece. It's once and again, it's a paradox. So once you let go, that's when things come to you, and you really, really learn the art of letting go on a twin flame
that
journey.
is I could not agree with you
And
more on
then,
that. It's so true. That statement is so true with every aspect of life. I think it's just kind of like
mhm,
let go and let God, you know? Everything is gonna work
yeah,
out.
yeah, and then once you learn the art of letting go on a twin flame journey, you can apply that to manifestation, because that's all manifestation is. You set
Mm-hmm.
your intention,
And let
let
it
it go,
go.
trust
Put
the
it out in the
universe.
universe that it's gonna come to you in divine timing. It'll come to you.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
just
mean, you still have to, you still have to put in work. It's I
yeah,
would say
right.
manifestation is like you are tending to your garden. You still have to water it. You still have to give it your care and love.
Yeah,
But when it comes to the sun will do its thing, give its light. You let the sun do its thing. You do your thing. It's a co-creation.
you. Do you believe that the twin flame journey right now is happening more because the planet is more evolved with I believe there's a mass spiritual awakening happening right now. I do. I think that
Of course.
people are speaking about this topic more openly. They're not as embarrassed. It's kind of taboo. It's been frowned
Hmm.
upon, you know, for so many centuries to even,
Hmm.
you know, the tarot readings and just speaking about this, the universe. You sound like a wacko sometimes when you talk about this kind of stuff. But the planet
Yeah.
is awakening. Is this part of the reason why now twin flames are coming about more, or has this always been taking place? We just haven't talked about it.
I think it's a bit of both. Yeah, I think, and again, it's divine perfect timing. The planet's ready, and I think twin flames are here to show the next level of love when it comes to humanity. We are embodying unconditional love, um, and once you embody that, it kind of ripples out through the collective. And I really think that's the mission for Twin Flame is to show another way to love. Um, and I would say true love, and that's love for the self. And that
Yeah.
kind of emanates in all aspects of your life.
Can you explain how the heart is the true portal to the soul?
Yeah, I think, yeah, uh, the heart is the heart space. I think the heart space is where your soul ultimately resides. It's the space where compassion enters, where trust enters, where empathy enters. These are all kind of qualities of the soul. Um, there's nothing wrong with the mind. I think the mind is a tool, um, and it depends how you use the tool. Um, but ultimately, on a twin flame journey, you kind of have to balance the heart and the mind. It's not about rejecting the mind or being all heart. It's about balance, right?
Hmm.
So yeah. So I think and and you can't forget being, human. People think, you're on a twin flame journey and
Right.
everything's perfect. You're floating in the clouds.
Yeah,
You still have to
we
remember,
can't forget where we're at.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You still have to live a human
Which
experience.
is what happens with a lot of content creators that are so spiritual, and they're amazing, right? Because they're putting out great information for others to kind of understand how to better flow with this dynamic. But then it's like you become too spiritual, and now you're
Hmm.
completely disconnected from what's really from reality. And then
Exactly.
how do you live in reality in that point, right? You can't. You have to
Hmm.
learn how to balance both.
Yeah, no, yeah, you can't. Yeah, it's all about balance. Um, and again, it's about the yin yang symbol. You see the duality, but you also see the wholeness within uh, or the oneness within the duality. Again, it's a paradox. The mind will try and figure it out. You just have to accept that it'll never make sense. But you hold both because you are a multidimensional being. You can have two perspectives in at the same time. You can't just have, or you can have three or four. You can hold multiple perspectives within your field. Um, and that's what happens, you know. And there is no right or wrong. There's just multiple ways of viewing it. You can view it from your human perspective. You can view it from an emotional perspective, mental perspective, your soul's perspective. That's all valid, and you can hold all those things within yourself.
When we unite with our twin flame again, in essence, are we matching our vibration because we're shifting into a different parallel universe where now we're matching together? Is that how that works also?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, you shift into a different timeline type of deal.
Hmm.
Um, you make one decision, or your vibration
And
changes,
that
and
completely shifts you or knocks you down,
mhm,
and that's where they're at too,
yeah,
and then that's where you can meet. And that's probably where the most toxic twin flame relationships take place, right? When you're in a low vibration. That's why it's so difficult.
yeah. People focus too much on twin flames when you have to look within yourself and ask yourself, am I really in union with myself? If we're in separation, if they came
Hmm.
back right now, would I be ready to hold,
Right. Because that's another
you
thing,
know?
if they come back and nothing has changed, it's just going to be
Hmm.
another heartbreak and another separation and another terrible reunion. So at that point, it's like, are you the one that
Hmm.
has to walk away and say, no, this is not the right
Hmm.
time. I don't feel it. When
Yeah,
we're, when
and
we're, Go ahead. I'm sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, and it's all part of the journey, even if they're not, there with you. Um, it's serving a purpose,
Hmm.
it's providing you a mirror within yourself to where you're at. So even them being not where they're supposed or where not where you think they're supposed to be,
Hmm.
it's serving a greater purpose, and it's to mirror where you're at
Right.
if you're honest with yourself.
Right. Right. That's the most important thing is being honest with ourselves because this world teaches us to lie to everybody. And who are we lying to? We're lying to ourselves. I was having this
Exactly.
conversation with a friend yesterday, during lunch, and we're living in such a fake world. It's like, who are you lying to by driving around, the expensive car and this mansion that you can't afford or this huge house and you're living paycheck to paycheck? Like, who are you
Hmm.
trying to impress? Y-
Yep.
and that's the world that we're living in. Um,
Hmm.
Once we achieve that level where we've accepted that we need to elevate our spiritual growth. I know that you talk about this in some of your content with books that you've read that helped you during your dark night of the soul, that helped you a lot. Can you share with us certain books that we can read to help us elevate our spiritual
Hmm.
journey and
Yeah.
achieve, maybe faster results, or like you said,
Hmm.
understand that we're not alone, that this is something that so many people go through. Even though you feel alone, you're far from it.
Hmm. Um, what helped me a lot is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and I recommend this on my one-on-one coaching calls.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that you read that, it just helps you be present, and you know, um, That's when you're present. That's when you are aligned with your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and if you look at the book, it's a guide to your spiritual enlightenment. And that's the path that the twin flame journey is. It's a guide to, or it is, you're achieving spiritual enlightenment. Which is just another word for, you're transcending your mind, basically, um, and your kind of lower self into a higher self. But it's not like it's like better, and you're not really achieving anything. You're peeling back layers to get to the core of who you are,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
100%, it
Um,
makes sense. 100%. You're learning who you are. You're being your authentic, real, raw self. And that's
yeah,
all you can strive to be, really.
yeah, it's not an achievement. It's a reductive process.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it feels like an achievement. It's again, it's a paradox. It feels like an achievement because you're getting to a point, but you're kind of just um, remembering who you were
I think that
originally.
once you get to that state of mind and flow, you know it because you start feeling so much more peace. And
Hmm.
in essence, nothing's really changed around you, right? The world is still the
Hmm.
world. Craziness is still craziness, but you learn how to stay in a kind of a flow of peace within you because you're living this
Hmm.
authentic, like you said, right? You're peeling back all these layers where you're just letting go. And at that point, everything is just so much easier, right? You're not stressing about life as much. You're not feeling so much anxiety. But
For sure,
everything has remained the same, right? Um,
for sure. And another book I would say is The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. Another really
uh,
good book.
yeah.
I would say The Power of Now is kind of like the has more kind of like masculine energy, and then The Untethered Soul kind of will tap into your feminine kind
Mm-hmm.
of side, and they both go hand in hand. Um, what else? I would read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho if you want to learn about your purpose. Um, and A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson, also really good. Anything by Rupert Spira, he's on YouTube as well.
What's his name?
Uh, Rupert Spira, he talks a lot about non-duality and shifting into your awareness, which is just another word for soul,
Hmm.
pretty much, or consciousness. Yeah, so all
So
really good books to read.
great. I've read three of these. So, but it's
Nice.
so you just gave me more fuel to add to my library here for the weekend
Hmm.
when I'm home with my daughter. So thank you for that. Eco, so
Hmm.
for anyone that's listening and that's struggling and feeling so alone and feeling depressed and missing that special someone that they've made all these illusions with in their head and it's not happening the way that they hoped that it would. What advice do you have for them to let them know that everything's going to be okay?
My advice would be, and you kind of said it, you're exactly where you're meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's nowhere to go, there's nowhere to be, the past or the future. Where you are is where you are. And once you accept that, that's when you'll discover more peace
Mm-hmm.
because, it's, you're not anywhere else but where you are.
Right.
Where, you know, where can you go? Um, Another thing is you're enough. Uh, However, you think you're not enough. And if you say this to yourself, I am who I am, and that is enough. If
Mm-hmm.
you say that to yourself 3 times, morning, afternoon, evening, if you shift into that energy, that can help you a lot. It's a little tip from Bashar. If you guys watch Bashar,
I love
um,
Bashar. I love him. I want
yep,
to see him in person.
same, yeah. And then the third thing I would say is, ooh, uh, that's a tough one. Um, Uh, Everything happens for a reason as well. You know what I mean? So, you might be in pain right now, um, but it's temporary, um, just like a storm. You know what I mean? So, you can't stop a storm from coming. You just have to ride it out and wait for the
Yeah.
storm to pass, and it will pass, just like any storm.
This too shall
You know.
pass.
And don't be afraid to go through it, because the only way out of this journey
Is-
is to go through it.
That's right. That is so right. So, Eagle, how can people find you for help, for your amazing services, for your coaching?
Yeah, you can reach me on my TikTok or Instagram. You are what you seek. Um, and yeah, that's the best way to find me. Um, and yeah, if you have any questions, you can DM me on those, or you can comment. But yeah, and yeah, it's been really good. It's especially the TikTok thing. I never thought that I would have a following or people would
TikTok
care.
is great. TikTok is
Yeah.
is is great for engagement. I think that people are
hmm
more open on TikTok definitely than some of the other platforms out there. I know that there's a lot of talk that it might go away. I hope that it doesn't happen. But
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. And everyone that I speak to that's putting out this level of depth of content is telling me the same thing. Like I never imagined to get to this level of connection through TikTok,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I just did a live a couple nights ago, and on my lives I asked, because I'm genuinely interested where people are kind of tuning in from. It's people from all around the world,
Hmm.
Algeria, Africa, the UK,
That's
other people
awesome.
from the States, um, and yeah, it's just this kind of global collective. And I never thought and imagine in a million years that people would even care what I said. 2 years ago when I first started on TikTok, I was just reflecting on my journey, and I kind of turned into this thing, which I'm super happy about. And again, like you said, it's about getting into the flow state and just letting go. When I did that, yeah, that's when things started to happen, and it's been very fulfilling. And it's been part of my purpose and mission on this journey to kind of help other people.
Yeah, when you have the calling, especially for something this important, you need to run with it no matter what, because you're always
Yeah,
going to connect with someone, and even if it's one person that you help, you did your
for
purpose,
sure.
right? You never know to what level of depression or
hmm
sadness that person's in, and maybe listening to your content or this conversation can really change their state of mind, and prevent a tragedy, right? Do you have
hmm
a YouTube channel?
Not yet. No, I'm thinking of getting
You
on
gotta
YouTube.
get with it, Ego. You gotta get a
I know,
YouTube.
I know. I'm that's in the works. That's in the works. I
Okay.
want to talk. Yeah, on my YouTube, I want to kind of expand on the spiritual journey. Not so much twin flames, but I want to talk about manifestation, and hopefully get into the AI side of things, which is kind of um, you know blending with spirituality, as I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah,
so I
big
kind of want
time.
to go into that. Um, and yeah, yeah, we'll see. But that's in the works. hmm
So right now we're looking at TikTok, Instagram. Are you on Facebook?
No, 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 no,
You're not.
just
Okay.
Instagram. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
just Instagram and TikTok.
So once I post our conversation, this is going to be episode 63. On the
hmm
comment section, I always put all of your links. That's why I'm I'm asking you so that I can make sure that I can add everything to make it easier
Yep.
for anyone searching for you that watches this episode can contact you. But again, Eagle,
Awesome. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, thanks again for taking the time to
Thank you.
speak with me. This is important information. You're putting great content out there. Don't stop. Don't stop because, people are listening. People are listening now more than ever, like you said. It's
Thank you so much.
if it's the planet and it's aligning or a mass awakening, this is the time to start doing it more and more. Uh,
hmm
and for all of you viewers that are watching this amazing episode with Eco, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and hitting the notification bell so that you never miss an amazing episode with amazing guests like Eco, giving us all this profound information to help us seek higher, awakening and helping our souls just feel better, right? And understanding what it's like to surrender and just feeling peace and presence. So thanks again, Eco, and I wish
Thank
you
you.
a great afternoon and an amazing weekend. Thank you for speaking with us.
All right, take care. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you. Bye bye.